Hello everyone, welcome back to Swooning Over Stands, a stand simulator. Let's keep going with this magical gaming experience. I am interested in seeing what comes next. Honestly, it's really cute, it's really sweet, I'm into it. I'm probably gonna play it more when I finish, like in my own time, to just kind of see what other routes get me and where they take me and the dialogue they give. Anyway, I guess we woke up and we don't think we've ever been more nervous in our life. Mabel came with you yesterday when you went shopping for extra clothes since Stan's mechanic skills left your car still being worked on, and you realized you needed more clothes than you'd packed. However, she managed to sneak in a relatively fancy set of clothes to add to your pile of summer-appropriate clothing, and she flourishes them in your direction with a wide, brace-faced grin. Ta-da! For tonight! You stare at the fancy outfit like it's going to jump out of Mabel's hands and attack you. Mabel, are you sure Ford agreed to this? Of course he did, I asked him and everything. He dropped whatever he was working on instantly. And it hit the other stuff on his desk, which fell on the floor, and then he said, I'd love to, but I'll need a fashion makeover. Please help me, Mabel, you're my favorite great niece. Okay, so he actually said something else, but he said yes at the end of it. Now come on, I have to put the finishing touches on this perfect date. Get dressed, then come to the living room. She shoves the clothes at you and leaves you in the room to get yourself ready. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna throw up. Oh no, I'm gonna throw up. What do I do? I'm so nervous. You put on the outfit Mabel picked out for you and head to the living room, where Dipper promptly guards the way into the kitchen with his noodle arms. Mabel wants me to keep you here until Great Uncle Ford is ready. Oh, okay then. I'll stay here. You take a seat in Stan's recliner, trying to look relaxed and composed, but your shaking hands give you away to Dipper, who's reading in front of the door. It's kind of sweet to think of like two grown-ass middle-aged adults being this nervous for a date. It's kind of cute. You look nice. I know Mabel picked it. I kind of helped, but it's nice. He's trying to distract you, sweet kid. You smile at him. He smiles back before turning to his book, The Field Guide to Bigfoot. Extraordinary! You can come in now. You jolt to your feet, heart in your throat. What do you do? Dipper, what do I do? Here goes nothing. Got any advice, Dipper? I would throw up again. Dipper stands up and awkwardly pats your hand. Just be yourself, Extraordinary. Aw, Great Uncle Ford likes you. I can tell. Trust me, that's sweet. If this was actually me, and I was actually this nervous, I would, be going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. I have a very nervous bladder. He gently shoves you toward the kitchen door. It looms in front of you menacingly. Now go get him, Tiger. Is that what you just say? Good luck out there. Dating my great uncle. Gross. Anyway. With surprising strength, Dipper pushes you through the door as Mabel opens it, and you stumble into the kitchen, look up, and oh god. Oh god, Ford's dressed up too. He's in a 3-piece suit with a maroon necktie. How did Mabel know your only weakness? Well, that and... Wait. A maroon necktie is our only weakness? Maroon neckties do be pretty nice. Well, if his sleeves were rolled up to his elbows, then this would really be a knockout. But, luckily for us, they're not. He has flowers! You make eye contact after examining one another, and you feel your face flush as red as his. Mabel beams, clapping her little hands together. Yay! Now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The Mabel certified dinner date of dreams. I knew Uncle Ford would be hopeless on a romantic dinner date on his own, so I'm here to make this one perfect. You only now notice she's wearing a bright pink apron, and that something smells very burnt. Mabel? Dipper pushes you further into the kitchen, and Mabel shoves Ford forward, and the two of you stumble, almost colliding with one another. Ford straightens up and clears his throat. His face is as red as his necktie. Well, these are for you, Extraordinary. You take a closer look at the bouquet and discover that a third of the bouquet are real flowers. They look to have been picked from outside the shack. Another third are pipe cleaner flowers with glittery petals, and another third are origami lilies. Judging by both Ford and Dipper's paper cuts and Mabel's sparkly sticky fingers, they collaborated to make your bouquet themselves. That's so cute! Dude, you know what? Giving flowers is, I would say, even underrated. People don't do it enough. Give each other flowers. It's really sweet. This is the cutest thing you've seen in your life. How many paper cuts did you get from these? These look questionable. I didn't know you folded origami. Oh, well, yes, a little. Dipper made the majority of the flowers, but he needed help curling the lily petals. That was my contribution. Great Uncle Ford, you did way more than that. You picked the colored paper that the lilies were gonna be, too. They're red, of course, from your limited knowledge of the color symbolism. The message is clearly sent across, and you flush as scarlet as the lilies. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, that's another really cool thing, the whole, what message each flower sends. That's fascinating. I should look into that. That's really, interesting, actually. Thank you, Ford. They're beautiful. Well, I'm glad you like them, Extraordinary. Ford smiles at you. You attempt to smile back, but you're too flustered to really make the expression. Hopefully he understands what you mean. Dipper takes the flowers off you and manages to stuff the bouquet into an empty 2-liter bottle of pit, sticking it in the middle of the table so you can't see Ford anymore once you sit down. You carefully scoop the vase to the side until Ford's pink cheeks and nervous expression are visible again, even if you're certain you look even more pink with embarrassment. Well, I'll leave you guys to it then. Chef Mabel, you ready? Sure am, bro. So ready. Mabel is standing on a stool and readying 2 plates of food, the contents of which you can't see yet due to the mass of her hair and Dipper's hat. Ford waves at you and you turn to him, leaning forward so he can whisper to you. Do you have any idea what's going on over there? Obviously planning to poison us with her spaghetti. As long as there's no Brussels sprouts in the mix, I will pull through. She has a bowl of jelly beans, so whatever happens, I'm eating all those. No. I could deal with some well-prepared Brussels sprouts. She has a bowl of jelly beans, so whatever happens, I'm eating all those. I guess, yeah. Admirable. Hopefully there are no sprouts there. Always hated those as a kid. Mabel whirls around and hops off the stool, brandishing 2 glasses of something disturbingly bubblegum pink. She places them down on the table with a flourish. Ta-da! 2 tall glasses of Mabel juice. I wouldn't call any fluid your own name and then followed by juice, because it just has a bad connotation to it. Such a delicacy, what ingredients did you use? You glance at Ford, giving him a face of play along, please don't leave me alone in this. Oh yes! Mabel, this looks truly exquisite. Pray tell, what was your method? Are the plastic dinosaurs and Monopoly pieces just decoration for this fine creation? Mabel is too busy giggling at you both to answer, and she thankfully doesn't notice that neither of you touch your drinks. Ford's too busy smiling at you from across the table as you ask Mabel about her secret ingredients for Mabel juice, and whether she used a blender or a food processor to mix it all together, calling it a true work of art. Anyways, on to the main course. Voila! Mabel turns back to the stove and grabs 2 plates of food covered with cloth. She places one in front of Ford and one in front of you, before stretching across the table and pulling both cloths off the plates at once. What awaits you on the plate is horrifying to say the least. There's a pile of 3 very burned chicken nuggets, dinosaur chicken nuggets, as if you'd expect anything else. Some half-wet, half-dry noodles with a slice of cheese draped across the top, and a handful of jelly beans, the special ingredient, of course. Oh my god, this is like making my stomach upset just reading it. The Mabel special. I'm not a fancy cook, I'm just a cute little girl, but I slaved away at this romantic dinner for the 2 of you, dang it. Mabel, this looks... Ford looks to you, panicked. Take a long, hard sip of your drink. I'm not exactly what to eat first. So, Mabel, you made this? Between these two for me, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to hurt Mabel's feelings. So, Mabel, you made this? Sure did. Your entire high cuisine meal tonight was prepared by Chef Mabel. Yes, I gathered that. Ford pokes at a chicken nugget with his fork. Black flakes flutter off the surface, and he shudders, a look of concern on his face. You and Ford dig into the jelly beans, going as far as to try to spear them with your forks to play the part of high cuisine dinner. Ford seems to relax a little as the dinner continues, but once the last jelly bean has been eaten, the two of you go silent once again. Ford glances between you and the remains of his food. Swallowing hard, Mabel rushes in to save the date. Oh, of course, I forgot the sauces and stuff. Silly Mabel. Mabel goes into the fridge and grabs bottles of ketchup and mustard, placing them on the table next to... Is that the blue glitter we used on the cupcakes? Yep, you're lucky there's still some left. Why is it here? Garnish, silly. What do you garnish your meal with? I mean ketchup, I guess. A solid, if not boring choice, the ketchup squirts over the top of the burned nuggets, and with the scarlet sauce covering the most offensive burns, they're almost edible. Almost. Mabel looks at you both expectantly, like you're going to chow down into your dinners now that they've been appropriately sauced up. Eat up, you've still got a lot of food left. Ask Ford to critique his dinner, attempt to eat the burned chicken nugget, take it another long hard sip of your drink. I'm gonna attempt to eat the burned chicken nugget. You gingerly pick up one of the chicken nuggets and take a very, very small bite out of the edge. It's crispy and burnt, but edible to some extent. You swallow your bite and quickly take a sip of your drink. Ford stares at you in total awe, like you just defeated a gremlin with one punch. Mabel stares at you both, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, awaiting some sort of magic to happen. You swallow nervously and look to Ford before you cup your hand at the side of your mouth, hiding your mouthed words from Mabel's eye. I have an idea. You tap your head with your other hand, charading your idea further. Ford gestures across the table as if to say the floor is yours. Ask Mabel about dessert. Mabel, what have you planned for dessert? At this classy establishment, there must be some sweet treats up for grabs. Huh? Oh yeah, I think Dipper was gonna help me with those. Dipper? Mabel hops down from her stool and snaps the fingers at the two of you. No canoodling while I'm gone, okay? She leaves you both red-faced and stammering as she skips out the door. Ford turns to you, smiling nervously. Extraordinary, I know Mabel tried her best, but I'm not accustomed to the dating game, as Stan calls it. For the first time in a while, I don't know what to do. Do you? You stop thinking for a moment. Dipper told you something earlier that day, an idea, in case the Mabel certified first date of dreams went awry. You suppose this is the perfect moment to enact Plan B. Alright, but we gotta act fast, watch my movements. You pick up your plate and struggle not to laugh as Ford mimics you almost perfectly and shovel the ingredients of your dinner into Waddle's mouth. The pig chews, swallows, and nuzzles your leg. Really? According to Dipper, Waddles will eat anything. You give him yours too, that way it looks like we ate. You hear footsteps thudding down the hallway. Mabel's on her way back. And quick! You gently push Waddles toward Ford, who quickly feeds him the rest of his dinner. Waddles snorts happily at the two of you before settling between your feet, content and full. And I'm back! Hey, are you guys kidding around? What did you think of the dinner? Waddles burps. Perfect. Absolutely delicious, Mabel. You're quite the chef, you know. Mabel beams happily at you both. Also, Mabel, can we take dessert to go? I want to take Ford somewhere on this date. Ford flushes scarlet at that. Mabel looks between the two of you and nods, wagging her brows at you. You sly dog, of course. With a popsicle each, you lead Ford away from the shack, away from town, up a hill. Where are we going? Oh, this is it, but you point upwards with your popsicle and... A meteor shower? The timing almost seemed too perfect. I didn't want to miss out on seeing it with you. You're kidding me. There's absolutely no way that Ford would not know when a meteor shower was happening. You both blush as you sit down shoulder to shoulder. I'm surprised you went looking into meteor showers extraordinary. Well, after our last time searching for anomalies, I got curious about other celestial stuff. Also, Dipper told me about it. Plan B. Ford laughs. That kid's bright. The twins are both very smart and very close for siblings. Ford pauses, and it's obvious there's something on his mind. What's the matter, Ford? Ford turns to you, his mouth open as if he was going to say more, but he closes it. I'm surprised at how close they are, practically inseparable. Stan and I were never like that. You seem like that now. What happened? Well, we were very close, best friends. But once we got to high school, things changed. You realize that Ford's hand is resting a few inches from yours. Casually, so casually that you're almost casual Fridays themselves. You scoot your hand closer to his, still too nervous to take it for yourself. What changed? We both changed. Ford sighs, leaning back on his palms. He notices your hand near his, thinks for a moment, but decides to keep talking instead. Stan and I had plans since we were children. We were going to get on a boat and sail far away from our New Jersey home. Far away from our family, friends, everyone. Just him and me in Stan of War, the boat we fixed up. I had a chance at admission to the college of my dreams. My other dreams, anyway. I always thought the Stan of War was a lost childhood fantasy, and that one day we'd grow up and go on our separate ways, and we wouldn't be as close as we used to be. My acceptance into said college hinged on the results of my science fair project, a perpetual motion machine that I designed. The machine was flawless. The calculations were triple-checked. I'd rehearsed my full presentation in preparation. I could practically see myself at that university, studying with endless resources at my disposal, and getting several doctorates. Ford sighs again, rubbing his temples. But... It was the day of the science fair. The admissions team from the university were there, in front of me, ready to view the machine. I pulled off the cloth cover and it was broken. My entire future was ruined. Oh, Ford. Our perpetual motion machine has one job, to not stop. The admission teams left, crossing me off their considerations, rejecting my entire presentation, my calculations, my hard work, my chances of going to my dream school, scrapped. It wasn't until I found a bag of toffee peanuts on the ground that I realized Stan had something to do with it. After that, we didn't talk for 10 years. I went to university, but it wasn't exactly my first choice. It wasn't until I came to Gravity Falls that I saw Stan again, and... He cuts himself off sharply, deep in reflection. He looks so heartbroken, so sad. Do I let him continue and not say anything or take his hand? I don't want to pick a bad moment. I don't want to overwhelm this poor man. So, I don't know. I might take his hand? You gently rest your hand atop his. He glances down at your touch, but doesn't take his hand away. Rather, he slowly twists his wrist and intertwines with your fingers with his. You don't have to keep going if it hurts. No, I'm fine. It has been good to talk about it in retrospect. Ford sucks in a deep breath. We fought. I hurt him. It wasn't on purpose, but I still hurt him. Then an accident happened and I lost him again. I didn't see him for another 30 years after that. You're tempted to pry, to ask what the accident was, but Ford seems finished with his story. He swallows nervously, awaiting for a response. It wasn't your fault. People change. Ford looks up at you when you say that, brow furrowed. People change, Ford. You were a different person then. You've gone through so much since when you were in high school. I'm sure Stan didn't mean to break your machine or to upset you like he did. He just didn't want to lose his brother. He didn't want to be alone. Ford looks down at your intertwined hands. He didn't want to be alone. And neither did I. Ford exhales. He looks tired, wiser than you remember. The man you played Dungeons, and more Dungeons with seems to have disappeared. You're right, Extraordinary. I am? Aw. Ford turns to face you and squeezes your hand. You are, I never looked at it like that. I never looked at you like that. You're smarter than I expected. That's a very backhanded compliment. Man, it's hot up on this hill. Sweltering even. Maybe that's just you, who knows. Well, I have my moments, I suppose. I don't mean that kind of smart, Extraordinary. I mean a different sort of smart. You're kind and caring and... He suddenly realizes how close you both are. And I've never met anyone as wonderful as you. Aww. You've not met many people that Ford. Shit. The feeling's mutual, Ford. What do you do? True love's high five, go for the hug, or kiss his cheek. I'd kiss his cheek. You lean forward a little. Ford stiffens. Are you sure that... Ford. You cup his cheek in the palm of your hand, duck to the other side of his face, and gently press your lips to his cheek. His cheeks both flush pink, and you can feel the warmth under your fingertips. Wow. Better than the burnt chicken nuggets? Ford snorts, resting his forehead against yours. Far better. Unbelievably better. This is so cute! Aw, it just encapsulates having a really big crush on someone and going on a date for the first time, just being so shy and awkward, but it's still really cute. So nice. The two of you head back towards the shack, hand in hand, in a comfortable silence. Once you reach the door, Ford grins sheepishly. I wanted to say thank you for tonight, for being there for me. Anytime, Ford. I had a great time. You stand at the door to his house like two teenagers on a first date. Well, you are, you suppose. And hopefully we can have more dates like this. Ford flushes red at the mere mention of a date, which is so adorable you start laughing. Yes, we shall most definitely have to engage in more of these dates with you. And myself, dating. You smile at him, and his blush further spreads to the tips of his ears. He exhales, tugging at his collar. Well, if I get to see you smile like that again, then I'd be happy to have more dates. It's your turn to flush pink, and you both laugh as the front door swings open. Standing in a doorway is Mabel, who looks so relieved to see you both. Where did you go? I gave you dessert and you abandoned me. You sly kids, sneaking off to go have fun by yourselves. Did you have fun? You and Ford glance at each other, grinning. We certainly did. Eee! I'm so glad. Now come inside before you get bitten by mosquitoes. Dipper yells from inside. Mine spell out! Does that spell dating? Both yourself and Ford shout what simultaneously at that. He's making that up for comedic effect. They just really look like a cat paw today. Dipper appears at the front door with Mabel scratching at his arm. Yeah, I did. Y'all want to see a cat paw, though? You turn to Ford, who looks very excited to see his connect-the-dots mosquito bites. We'd love to, Dipper. I bet it doesn't even have 6 toe beans. Ah, toe beans! Come on, Dipper, I want to see now. Mabel grabs you, Dipper grabs Ford, and you're both tugged into the shack, your laughter echoing into the woods around the house. The dates continue, a quiet alcove in Gravity Falls Library, and on the roof of the shack past midnight. They're simple compared to the production Mabel whipped up for the night of the meteor shower, but Ford seems more comfortable this way, and really so are you. You've learned more about him, but it's like he's still holding something back. In your conversations, it feels less like he's just spent a year away sailing and more like he'd spent half his life in another universe. For instance, during that afternoon at the library, he'd attempted to print nearly 3 decades worth of academic paper in physics, and you had to remind him about the existence of PDF downloads and USB drives. But whatever past he's hiding, you're not sure you'll ever find out. The magic Stan's worked on your car has rendered it almost operational again, meaning that your time at Gravity Falls is coming to a close, and that today's the last date you'll have with Ford. Aww. You arrive at the Gravity Falls community pool just a minute after sunset. Pinks, oranges, and yellow streaks across the sky, like a splash of maple juice. Despite it being after hours for the community pool, the front gate is open, thanks Dipper, and you sidle inside, taking in the abandoned floaties and the one several times special edition soggy towel on the floor. A few minutes pass before Ford arrives, signaled by his accidental slip on a several times towel and a quiet curse at his clumsiness. Don't worry, I nearly stood on it too. Someone must have left it behind, though maybe for good reason. He picks up the towel between forefinger and thumb, and something sticky drips off of deep Chris's forehead. Ford shudders and drops it again. Children and their boy bands. Make sure Mabel's not around to hear that. I'm fairly certain she'd disown you. At least Baba actually had some good songs back in their day. Ford turns to you, and you notice something. His curious expression softens as you stare at him, and he makes his way over to you, tilting his head down in your direction. Curse him for being dang tall and cute. Even though... Ford? Yes? You have a California fridge magnet stuck to your forehead. Ford immediately flushes bright red, eyes wide in surprise. Really? I guess I'll peel it off. You pull the magnet off of his forehead, examine it for a moment, then lightly tap his nose with it. He flashes a somehow deeper pink, grinning bashfully at you. Ford sits at the edge of the pool and dangles his feet in, having not worn a swimsuit. You have one on under your clothing, but you're kind of nervous to get undressed. May I do that thing? I'm gonna stay dressed. You sit with Ford on the edge of the pool, swinging your legs back and forth in the water. The two of you sit in silence for a moment. Do you go swimming a lot? Me? No. I used to swim a lot as a child, since we lived close to the ocean. But now, not really. Why not? Never had the time, I suppose. I was always so busy with my work that I never realized we even had a community pool until Mabel told me about it. It goes quiet again. Ford's hand skims across the surface of the water, tracing tiny waves with his fingers. He looks to be deep in thought, like something's troubling him. I would ask him what's up. He looks up at you, wide-eyed and blinking behind his thick glasses. Oh, nothing, just thinking. You stay silent and instead start swirling your finger in the water too, occasionally curling your finger around his. It's an accident, of course. Eventually, you both stop messing with the water and leave your fingers linked together, which gradually turns into his hand taking yours and all of your fingers intertwining, knuckles brushing against the water. Ford swallows. Out of the corner of your eye, you see his face is tinted pink, and it's probably not from the sunset. He seems nervous. More nervous than on your Mabel certified date of dreams, which is strange considering the context. That one was pretty forced. Ford, do you trust me? The question comes in one breath out of nowhere. His grip on your hand tightens. Yes, of course. He rubs the back of his neck with his free hand, a small reflexive gesture, 6 fingers dipping beneath the high collar of his sweater. There are things that I still haven't told you yet. Things about myself. Things I'm not sure you'd like. Of course, there's the great Uncle Ford side of things. What with Dipper and Mabel, but you don't really know what happened to me while I was studying here 30 years ago. When you're ready, you can tell me. Ford, you don't have to go into detail about it if you aren't ready to. Ford looks down at the water, at his reflection. He frowns, closes his eyes, and thinks for a moment. You've proven yourself to be a good companion, to put it lightly. Of course, this whole dating thing. You blush, his Ford coughs when you start giggling. Well, what I mean is, there's nothing out about you that could do me significant harm. Just wait until I peel off my human skin and become a lizard person. Within the set of species residing on this earth, there exists a race of lizard people, and surely they walk among us. Extraordinary. That subject is no joking matter. You stare at him, an eyebrow raised. Both of you burst out laughing, the sound echoing around an empty pool, and from the corner of your eye you notice Ford scooting closer to you. Extraordinary. You hadn't heard of Gravity Falls until you crashed into the shack because of my magnet gun, correct? I read about the shack being a tourist trap in Oregon, but that's just about it. Gravity Falls wasn't even on my map. Why do you ask? That's to be expected. Most people don't know about Gravity Falls until they see it for themselves or do elaborate research on it. Remember when we went hunting for the Mothman, how I warned you about the other creatures that can be found in the woods and around town? Never forget our grand adventure. You mean the leprechaun and the gremlin and the other creatures you told me about, right? There's so many more oddities, bizarre creatures, geographical anomalies, secret societies, and strange townspeople. Like I've said before, this unique concentration of weirdness is what drew me to Gravity Falls in the first place, and made it the perfect place to conduct my research. Why was the weirdness centralized to Gravity Falls? Exactly, that's what I wondered. My biggest question during these studies was why? Why was this town so strange? I tried to find an answer, a unifying theory that would pull my research together and finally grant me success. But I hit a wall in my research. I had no ideas, no leads, with nothing and no one to help me until I found a being by the name of Bill Cipher. He came to me in my dreams, claiming he was a godly muse, a friend, someone who could do a lot with little help, and I believed him. Ford continues with a certain bitterness you've certainly never heard in his tone before. I put my unconditional trust in him. I asked for his wisdom, for his guidance, put him on a godly pedestal and worshipped him, even going as far as to litter my house with his image. Did you build the door? What happened to it? The door? Did you build the door? What happened to it? What door? Well, when I consulted Bill about my unifying theory, he told me that my answer lay in another dimension, and that he could help me build a portal to it. Obviously, I built it without hesitation, without thought, and instead of being a doorway to a weirdness dimension, as I'd been led to believe, it turned out to lead to the nightmare realm, Bill's realm. He had tricked me. All he wanted was to cross into our dimension and model it all into his chaotic image. I shut the portal down before his plans could be realized, but it was too late. My mind was in shambles from Bill's influence. I should have ended it. I should have torn the portal down, but I had put so much into making it work, I hid the instructions for its operation instead. I tried to entrust a piece of it to Stanley, but after 10 years apart, Ford pauses, sucking in a deep breath. We fought. In the midst of it all, one of us pushed a button and pulled a switch. The portal was reactivated that day, and I was pulled into it. Spent the next 30 years in that portal, years of searching for the answer to a new question. How to defeat Bill once and for all. But I was pulled back to this dimension, my home dimension, too early, and all this frustration came crashing down. In this tiny town, in a grand multiverse, I truly believed I was meant for something more. Bill told me that I would change the world. I never questioned it would be for the better or worse. How did you get pulled back here, or you were doing what you thought was best? I was pulled back through the portal by Stanley himself, and Dipper and Mabel, of course. However, because the portal had been reactivated, Bill could enter our world at any time. I destroyed the portal device once and for all, but what was left was an interdimensional rift in space-time, left over from the portal's last operation. It had the potential to let Bill through to our dimension. I contained it, but the rift shattered. Bill entered the physical realm and wreaked havoc on Gravity Falls in an event called Weirdmageddon. Bizarre-mageddon would have been better. What happened during it? It was, to put it lightly, the end of the world. That's not putting it lightly. It was the apocalypse. Weirdness exploding from every corner. Anomalies I couldn't even explain. Everywhere. It was all Bill's doing. Don't get me wrong, this is really great. It's like our character in this game would not know any of this, and so like it's a really big trusting moment. But we have seen all of this in the show, so I'm kind of just like waiting for the fanfic, I guess, moments to start up again. But he breathed out, frustrated with himself. It was still my fault, as much as I want to go back on myself and say it wasn't. I still caused the whole thing. I brought Bill here. I helped him with his plan. Don't let this define you, Ford. You've learned a lesson. Sometimes people don't have the best intentions at heart. By the sound of it, this Bill character has no heart. He's a demon, so no. It's a mark on your conscience, and it hurts to remember. But you fixed your mistake. You stopped the world from ending, and you remembered that your family are some of the best dang people I've certainly ever met. And you get to be related to them. They are rather great. And even after all that, they still love you, don't they? Mabel sets us up our romantic dinner. Dipper writes you a DD and MD campaign. Stan, well, you know how much your twin brother cares for you. He built your entire portal back up and brought you home. Ford nods, squeezing your hand. It was awful and bad, and yeah, you messed up, but it doesn't define you. You're incredibly intelligent and fun to hang out with, and sure, sometimes I don't understand half the sciencey stuff that comes out of your mouth, but that's all part of you, and that makes me like you all the same. Ford finally turns to look at you, and he winds an arm around your shoulders. You scoot closer and complete the hug, draping your arm across the middle and hugging him tight. Thank you for listening to me ramble. It wasn't rambling, it was your life, and I'm very happy to learn more about you whenever you want to tell me more. Ford pauses, thinking. My favorite snack foods are jelly beans. I hate toffee peanuts. Honestly, I kinda guessed the whole jelly beans thing. Ford laughs, and you laugh with him, nuzzling into his chest. Aww. You feel him swallow before he presses his lips to the top of your head. Aw, this is so cute. Thank you. You're welcome, Ford. He smiles at you a moment longer, then it falls as he sobers. I suppose I wanted to tell you because you're leaving soon. The acknowledgement that in a matter of days your time in Gravity Falls will be over should feel final, but instead it only feels distant. You sit back, relinquishing Ford's embrace, and he speaks again. Extraordinary, what are you doing after all this? When you get your car back, what'll you do? I don't know yet. I'll see when I get there. It would be comforting to think that Ford will still be here in Gravity Falls for summers to come, but you recall that Stan and Ford don't even live on land anymore. They'll be setting sail again, exploring the seas and documenting the oddities of the world. From what you've already heard about it, it's intense stuff that keeps them on the move and untethered. Ask Ford what he'll do when summer ends. Ask Ford and you can stay in touch to tell Ford how you feel. I think this is the most honest one. Ford. Yes? Never mind. It was nothing. Let's just enjoy this. So you do. Sunlight starting to bleed between the pine trees as the sun sets on your last night in Gravity Falls. Dude! Oh, come on! Okay, these ones, like the last few days, are feeling quite short. I might just... I don't know. I kind of want to just finish it. It's your last day in Gravity Falls. Ugh! Weeks ago, you'd worried today would never come, but now that it's here, you don't know how to feel. Just yesterday, when Stan told you your car was good to go, you wanted to believe there was something still left for him to fix. And yesterday evening, after your final dinner with the whole Pines family and Sue's back-breaking goodbye hug, you had almost resigned yourself to letting go. But now in the clarity of daylight, you realize that those weird and wonderful people don't have to disappear from your life for good. You'll always have the memories. You'll still be able to keep in touch through letters, packages, video calls. They won't be able to get rid of you even. Too late, suckers. Cherished friends for life. Oh, come on! If this game makes me cry, I'm gonna be fucking mad. When you make your way out of the shack, you're met by the Pines and Waddles, all gathered beside a large tarp, covering what you guess is your car. They're talking amongst themselves until they spot you. There she is! Thought you were gonna miss the big reveal. Now, you guys! Ford and Stan each take the end of the tarp, pulling it off with a flourish as Mabel and Dipper throw handfuls of confetti in the air. Ta-da! The reveal is indeed your car! Besides a couple of nicks here and there, it's hard to believe it's the same one you crashed just weeks ago. Heck, it probably runs better than when you first got it. It looks amazing! You take it all in, running your hands along the hood and marveling at the spotless windows. Ford, can I call you the next time I need a tune-up? If this is what happens when you use that magnet gun, I might ask you to total my car more often. Ah, yes, well, perhaps we can find a middle ground. Hey, no love for me, huh? No love for you, Stan. Respect, but no love. Don't forget who got you out of this mess in the first place. I could never. Trust me, I think of you every time I use my windshield wipers without jamming the button. You laugh, giving Stan a big hug in gratitude. That's sweet. Thank you, Stan. You turn to the whole family, taking the moment in. Aww. And thanks to all of you for everything. It's been unforgettable. Familiar car keys back in hand, you unlock your car and load your belongings into the trunk. Mabel comes up and hands you a package wrapped entirely in ribbons and bows, winking. Just something to remember us by. Stan calls from where he stands with Ford, to the left of your car. I don't know what that is, but it's from me too. And me. Dipper simply shoots you a thumbs up. When you look at the label on Mabel's gift, you see his name is already on it besides hers. I want to open it. You're about to pull at the ribbons, but Mabel chides you. No, you gotta open it on the road after you leave. Or, well, after you stop at a rest stop, because you're driving. Please don't get into another accident. You tuck the gift into the trunk on top of everything else, making sure it'll be safe from being crushed. After Mabel, Waddles comes up to you as well and snorts up at you. You give the little guy a loving pat. You're going to miss that pig. You're really going to miss Gravity Falls too. I don't know what to say, except I guess... You're about to say goodbye when Ford interrupts you. Extraordinary, wait. Oh boy. Come on kids, back in the house, nothing to see here. Oh, but I want to see! No, Mabel! Stan shoos the kids back into the shack, leaving Ford and you alone outside. Ford steps closer to face you. Extraordinary. I've never been great at relationships. In college, I ruined what chances I had, and anything after that is best left forgotten. But I think I want to try this with you, Extraordinary, if you'll have me. This is so cute! Oh, my heart! I want this too. I think this will work, and I want to keep in touch, Ford. I wanted to ask for your number ages ago, but the shack's landline isn't exactly private, and I don't think you own a cell phone. Ha, no, Stanley's the one who bothers with cellular phones for the kids' sake. But I connected my watch to the interweb, as they say, and you can send me electronic mail, or... Ford hands you a folded piece of paper, with parts of his cursive peeking from its folds. You almost start to unfold it before Ford places his hand over yours. You can send me a letter, this one just to start us off. You look up at him and feel a desire to kiss him, obviously. But I don't know if he wants a kiss. He maybe wants just a hug, but I'll be bold. You lean up to give him a parting kiss on the cheek. When you step back, he's blushing. You know, extraordinary. Meeting you has made me incredibly glad that I made that mistake with the magnet gun. Not that stranding you here was a positive, but remember me, alright? Same to you. Don't forget me while you're off saving the world on the Stan of War. Goodbye, Ford. Ford watches as you get into your car and start up the engine. You turn onto the road with ease, and in the rearview mirror see Ford waving goodbye, as well as Dipper, Mabel, and Stan from the shack. You smile at the sight and say a last goodbye into the quiet of your car, watching until you have to focus on the road once more. A little while longer, and you're through town, back on the open road. A sign passes on the right, now leaving Gravity Falls. Oh, wow. It's not until you're at the next rest stop that you think to open Mabel's gift, or, well, the Pines family gift. You unwrap it to find Mystery Shack souvenirs, a small knitted square Mabel has helpfully labeled as mug sweater, and the photo. Aww, this is so cute and sweet and just so precious. Aw, that was so nice. Oh God, I can't believe how quick the last bit of the game was. The last 3 days of the game, they were like half, if not more, short than all the other ones, the first few ones. I wonder if that one day for some reason I could have done better and if that would change anything. I wonder what it's like if you go after Stan and not Ford, but this was very precious. It was so nice. It really felt like you were inside a series of episodes of Gravity Falls. The person that made this game has such a love and appreciation for it. You can really tell. And so do I. And oh my God, this was just very, very sweet, very heartwarming. And I'm so fucking happy that I came across this game, even though it came out 3 years ago at this point. But yeah, I'm very happy to have played this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. It would mean a lot to me. If you want to see possible alternatives, let me know, because I will happily do a shorter video of just showing what can happen and not showing all the choices. There are things that I cut out from this, really sweet moments between you, Dipper, and Mabel. Very, very nicely written, funny, entertaining, and I just don't want to show 100% of it. This game is free on itch.io, so definitely support the developer by playing the game, by leaving good reviews. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this, being part of it. I truly, truly enjoyed, and I look forward to playing something new next time. Yeah, I guess this is bye for now. See you soon.